Well, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of The Tenant Farmer. My name is David, as always. I do hope you're doing very well indeed. And welcome back to what's going to be a day all about cattle. However, before we get to that, I do need to go and drop off this Tether behind me. And we need to discuss a small problem that I have at the moment. And I was adamant that we wouldn't be doing any more of this year. Very, very adamant that we wouldn't. My bank manager was adamant that we shouldn't be doing any more of this year. But things just fall into place sometimes, and it's just going to be the right opportunity and the right piece of equipment. So, with that, we're going to go and see our friends at Corsair Machinery, and we're going to figure out what that is, and you shall see in a matter of moments. So, it is time for us to say goodbye to the TR 300. It's been a great little whittler for us. It's done a fantastic job. But like I say, something came along that I just couldn't really say no to, and well, many things came along actually. So it's time for us to do a bit of an upgrade, bearing in mind what we're looking to do this summer. I think this is a perfect opportunity, and I think it's going to be something that's going to really allow us to benefit the farm in the long run. So they're over there now. This is quite funny how this came around, really. There's two different bits of equipment that we are about to pick up. The first is a Tether, and the second, as you can well see, is a rather shiny and smart looking Phantek rake. The Tether was an absolute steal. This is used, can you believe it or not? It doesn't look it, but it was. And it has quite a few seasons on there already. So the price of this thing had come down by about 40%. Factor in the trading of that guy over there, which has already been sold, which was nice and swift. We're looking at in the region there of me paying only a few £1,000s for it. So for this, I couldn't say no. I mentioned in a recent video as well, I really wanted to get to a stage where perhaps we would be able to, you know, have a bit of a one-man contracting fleet. So when we have our own work done here, we could look to branch out a little bit more. And what better way of doing this rather than having exactly all of the own equipment that we need here, not having to rely on the nephew again, although sometimes he is useful to have around, and being able to jump on as much of this as possible myself. And I think really this is a great way to do it. So I came in the other day to cross the T's and dot the I's on this deal here, as you do, and we got talking about haymaking equipment in general and silage making equipment in general, and then this came into the fray. It was literally being delivered on the back of the truck to here as I was in the yard. It's like it was planned. When you can pull forward a little bit there, but what it does mean is that we have, or I have, been able to acquire this beautiful Phantek rake, again trading in my class liner, which was a great rake there. A little bit on the heavy side if it was on the back of the Fiat, but this can be pulled by the Fiat without any issues. And we also have it's a twin rotor rake, quite clearly, so we are doubling our output there, which is, well, frankly, let's stick that on for the travel, perfect, really. And I can't wait. And it's really going to allow us to get through that output there a little bit faster. I'm hoping, door sounds awfully rattly these days. I'm hoping that we can really get after it here and make some fantastic progress there when we do start to knock down the next lot of grass, which might not be too far away actually. The weather is looking good, everything's drying out nicely. Still itching to do a little bit more first cut silage, so we may well end up not sticking a mower onto a tractor later on as we look to get into it. But we'll look into what that looks like when we're back at the yard. But as I mentioned, we need to get this equipment back, and then we're going to look into a new arrival, or of a secret source really, at the yard there, which is going to allow us to really improve our cattle's performance, improve their output, improve their health and their well-being, which is all that we need to be looking to do at this current time. So without further ado, we're going to just take ourselves along back to the yard here. We'll park these up for now, and then we'll have a bit more of a discussion about the cows.
Left the big city for the simple country life. Found myself a woman that it took for me to be my wife. I was working on the ground come sun up to sundown. Hey, I'm trying to make a reputation for a man inside this town. Hard as I try, maybe I just can't. I ain't no up and kind of leave.
Now I have been reliably informed that there is a truck driver here by the name of Martin, and Martin is waiting for me to learn where he needs to tip everything. So We're not going to even look at unloading these or parking these bits of equipment up just yet, because we need to look into that. You'll see the first cut ground is looking pretty good, actually. I'm starting to get a little bit of regrowth on there, which is good. We haven't had too much rain, which is a little bit of a concern. Would love a little bit more just to get everything kicking along. But the flip side of that, I've also got some silage I want to make. So, you know, maybe hold off for a little bit. I'll get some more first cut knocked down today. And then it can do it at once, really. But yeah, for right now then, I think we will just very gently park this into here. Yeah, look at me with a twin rotor rake and everything. We're really kicking on here. I mean, the only reason that we have been able to do this, I should say, is that, you know, we've been able to release a little bit of capital. We've got some great success recently from the garden diversification that we went into, and we've also been able to see, you know, a great opportunity with the new business line that we're going into there as well. So we were able to make a little bit work. Of course, we're part exchanging our existing lineup of fleet there, so that took a big chunk out of the payment. So that's all good, and the rest of it we will look forward to doing as soon as possible. And yeah, like I say, we'll get this all paid off as soon as we can. But for the most part, you know, I have of course left my beacons on because I do that. But yeah, for the most part, I'm very, very happy with what we've got. So we'll look into this in a bit more detail. We will probably certainly be getting the rake going very soon. I have yet to decide. The weather doesn't look too good for making hay, and we've got enough ground to go that I think we'll probably just do a little bit more silage first. And the worst case, if we are in a position to sell it, then fantastic, we will. However, there is a truck, an 8-wheeler up ahead here, and we're gonna have a look into this and see what lies inside of it, really, because that, my friends, that is where our secret sauce is being contained. So without further ado, let's see where Martin is. Let's get this tipped and take it from there.
Well, working 3 jobs, living out of a car. Mama never told me life would get this hard. Running around the world playing my guitar. Baby, you can love me, you can leave me. I'm a honky-tonk star. Yeah, I'm a honky-tonk star.
Martin is putting that down. There is an elephant in the room here that I will have to address. There's a fence here. It's not fully finished, but there's a fence here. And Martin has ruined my fence by tipping all over it. However, this is an area that we leveled out with a little bit of stone that we had left over from some of the drainage work. And this was a little bit of a rediversion because we needed somewhere to tip this stuff. Now, what is this stuff? Well, let's get Martin paid up for it and we'll get him out of here. And there he goes. And so he is away down the lane there and he is gone. But what is this stuff in front of us here? Anyone have any guesses there? If you know what we're talking about, stick it into the comments down below. But this is brewer's grain, as we refer to it as. Now, many people might refer to it as a Selco, I do believe it is, from some locations. And some people might just call this a byproduct of a brewing system. And that's exactly what it is. So what this is used for, this is used within the fermentation when various different brewing companies are producing whichever product they make. For example, this is a form of spring barley, a malted barley here that was coming from a distillery and a brewery that was making lager. So this is particularly very, very good for us because this is a very, very high form of protein for our cattle there. When we can't get our cattle outside, when the options for feed in the grass are not too good there, when the grass is not growing so much, and when it's not particularly good conditions, the level of proteins in these grasses are not great. What that means is that when they don't have as much protein there, they're not producing as much milk. Cattle that don't produce as much milk is no very good for a dairy farmer. So we bring in this stuff. This is going to be blended into our daily rations. We're still feeding them every day just a little bit because, like I say, grass isn't growing too strong at the moment, so we need something. But they will be continued to blend in that in a bit more detail, a bit more quantity over the course of the winter as well. We're able to ship this in. It's not the cheapest. We don't need to put too much into a ration though, so that's good news. Maybe about, with our new bucket on our Massey, about 2 bucket loads per full mixer there. So it's very easy to complete. Now, what we do need to be careful about here is making sure we don't put too much in. Too much of a good thing can not be good at times, so we have to be careful from that. And also, it's very expensive. However, this will allow us to really continue to look after our cattle's health, look after their productivity, and make sure they keep their conditioning on it as well throughout the winter months. It was not going to be too long if the weather keeps up like this, you know, until we're having to feed them throughout the summer, actually, because it is just very hot, very dry at the moment. So, you know, there's been a little bit of rain there. There's forecast a big storm coming up soon, but this has been getting pushed and pushed and pushed, and I think it's due to other elements happening around Europe at the moment, so we haven't seen it. So we brought this in anyway so we can have a bit of a backup for now and see how we get on with it. Like I say, we just need to finish up a bit more of this fence here and probably relay all this bit now that Martin's just tipped a whole load of stuff on it. That was brilliant. So yeah, no, we'll have to get this this all sorted out here. But essentially, this is going to allow us to really increase how we're feeding the cattle and what the quality that we're feeding them as well. Furthermore, this shed still remains empty, but it's not going to be the case for too much longer, I don't think. We're looking to get some cattle, some young bullocks into here in probably about the next month or so. Or you got them lined up, went to have a look at the farm in question they're coming from. So we should be seeing those fairly soon. But they're just starting calving over there, and we'll leave them there for about a month. So we'll get them in about a month, 6 weeks time, and we should be looking dandy. So that's going to be the plan there. Can't wait to see how that plans out. And yeah, let me know if you have been using anything similar there, what your experiences are and how it's been going. Like I say, we're going to start mixing that in. At the moment, it's going to be into 1 ration a day because that's all they're getting at the moment because they are still on grass. But when we get into the winter, they'll be getting that in both of their rations as well. Keaton's doing okay as well. Like I say, it's still ticking along at the moment there. It's the yard's getting a little bit full. We need to get rid of some bits and pieces from around here sooner rather than later. And then we've even got that bucket on ready to have a bit of a play around with that. So we will just take this tractor up to there for now. And then, yeah, we'll probably put the mower onto something as well there, just so we can go and knock down a little bit more grass, because now is the time to get going with it, really. And we will see. I'm hoping that we're going to take one more field down the first cut silage so we can get into it, and probably look to get that baled tomorrow. I do need to see where and when my nephew is available, though, so we can plan that in accordingly. But yeah, otherwise, it's going to be nice and handy stuff just to shift around with the loader bucket. Not too difficult at all. But yeah, we have to do a little bit of movement there and shoveling it through a fence line of all things. But these things happen. Okay. And that is going to be us. Into the hopper we go. So with that being said, we're just going to take a load of this down here. We'll get ourselves ready. We're not going to mix anything up just yet. You'll see us doing that in a lot more detail throughout the course of the summer and into the winter. But for now, we need to get some grass cut down. So let's get everything set up there, and let's see where we're going to head. One thing I thought I would show you, just run up the hill to show you here. The pigs are thriving right now. They absolutely love this weather. They're killing it up here. They're really doing well. You can see where they've been rummaging around, and the grass is a little bit lower in places there than others, and they are just having at it right now. And you know, I am all good with that. They seem to be doing well. And yeah, conditioning is looking good there as well. We'll have a walk around them daily just to check in on them, but we don't have to feed them with anything else. They've got the water out there. But yeah, they're looking good. So long may that be the case, because the cost of pig meal is skyrocketing at the moment. So if they can get everything they need from the ground, and they'll probably only be able to do that for another few weeks actually, but we'll see how they get on there, and then we will be back on the feeding them something. But yeah, we're probably going to be keeping those. There's a bit of an age range there, but the oldest will be kept with us for a while. Hello ladies, we're just coming through. Mind your back, excuse me, coming through. Yeah, so the eldest of the pigs there will be kept for a while, but we should be looking to get rid of those about just before Halloween really, and they'll go away to be put into boxes. But yeah, it's all very, very exciting. All go around here. So like I say, we're off to go and do a bit of mowing. One man is off to mow a meadow, and we're going to see how we get on. We're going to go probably up to the silage ground that we were on this time last year actually. So it's a little bit of a drive, but it will allow us to get going there. And we're going to, everything we make off there, I imagine, given what we have around here already, we're likely just going to be stuck it on the side of the field to sell at a later date. And then yeah, it'll give me a good chance to see how that slurry is rotting away really. And oh, there's a dog on loose. On the land that we did cover, over there. We will be looking into that. Now, I do know of a contractor nearby who is looking to do a bit more slurry spreading there, so we might bring them in at some point to do the some of the work for us on that side of things, because it is a long old draw to get up there and back, and it does take some time and make a mess through the village. But we will see. We're not there yet anyway, so we'll have to see how we get on with that. But for right now, we're looking pretty good. And we'll just take our time through and around here. And hopefully, yeah, we'll get this all knocked down today. It's going to be around about 16-ish acres, I think we've got to cut. It's a bit of an odd-shaped field there. Hasn't had too much in terms of inputs on. Had a little bit of nitrogen on at the earlier stage of spring there, and it seemed to have responded well enough. But we're trying to use that sparingly, obviously, because of the storing costs. So we'll stay away from putting too much of that on. Winter drilled crops and the spring drilled crops aren't looking too bad. So yeah, we've got a lot of sunlight on there, but we could just do with a little bit more rain just to get everything growing along there. The timing of it has to be good, though. Obviously, if we get this first cut of silage finished, then we could get the rain. That'd be magnificent. I really would. But yeah, some of the grassland leaves a little bit to be desired, but we're going to go into here anyway. We'll stop right here, and whilst we unfold the mower, we're actually going to go and have a bit of a peek over the road there and see what we're looking like. Oh, right then. Look left, look right, look left again. And over we go and hurdle this. So, only in the last kind of 10 days or so has this really started to grow a little bit. You'll see as we look down there, you can see a faint trace of the slurry that was on there, but otherwise it's looking really good. This is another set of fields that we could really do with a bit more grass on here, primarily because this ground here is going to be hay ground. We're going to be baling this up to sell it. And at the moment, in its current stage there, not going to get too much hay off of this. So we do want to see a bit more growth on these. That would be fantastic, really. So we have to keep an eye on it. The spring barley at the far end there should be doing very well as well. We haven't checked on that in a little bit, but it does look like it's thickening out nicely from afar. But yeah, that's what we want to see. You see a little bit of improvement along here. But yeah, a good thick looking crop of grass to start with, though. I'm pleased with how this is looking. If this can get a good bit of water and a good growth, we should be in a phenomenal position. And that will be us for the summer, really. At least one crop of hay off here. We might try and get a very sneaky late cut of silage off it as well, if the late summer is kind to us in that regards. But if it's not, we will look elsewhere. But main aim for right now is to cut what we can cut and control what we can control in front of us, and then we will see how we go. Dwarf hedge, we'll jump that. So I'm going to run down to the tractor then, and we're going to continue, and we will see you for an update later on in the week. So until then, I hope you have enjoyed. I've been David. This has been the latest update from the Tenant Farmer, and we'll see you in the next one.